I left for Thanksgiving break.
Yeah, I figured it would take you like 10 days to reacclimate. And that's just a God's time.
I'm still not.
What is Tennessee? Where's Nashville? Is that God's time or no?
Yeah, it's central. Yeah.
Man, your dad was probably all kinds of fucked up.
Oh yeah.
All kinds of fucked up.
I mean, thankfully he wasn't drinking. So
At all?
I mean, he had like
Here I thought
a
he
glass
shit
of
himself
wine
because he had drinks.
No, he just does that
He
because
just shits himself.
he takes like a ton of fiber every day. Like I do a tablespoon in the morning, but he does like a tablespoon in the morning and then supplements in the afternoon. So like,
do you need that much fiber?
No, you don't.
Right, like then you'll be shitting yourself.
Yeah, it's like it's so soft, like you fart and it's just like.
That's disgusting. I don't want to shit myself like that.
No.
Okay, and what are we talking about? Flash
Gordon to start with.
3, 2, wait, we need to watch. Never mind. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're going to switch this up right now. And
Old school.
I recently discovered that my oldest son had never seen. You ready?
Flash. Gordon.
Had never seen that. And then I was talking.
That's like the greatest B movie ever.
Queen did all of the music.
I know.
Like, not just the songs.
The whole soundtrack.
The whole soundtrack is Queen.
Yeah.
Max von Sydow is in it. 1980 masterpiece. Masterpiece. It is. So, there was, put it this way, a James Bond was in that movie.
Timothy Dalton. No.
Correct.
Oh, that's right.
Correct. Yes.
I would have figured that would have been right up Roger Moore's territory too, though.
Yeah, but he kind of nailed it because he was the swamp pirate. And they had that's Hans Zarkov. I didn't know who he was. They had the flying eagle things with girdles on.
Yeah.
Man, this movie was so fucking good.
It was Dune before Dune.
It was like Ming the Merciless wanted to toy with the Earth. So he shot down asteroids and then they get kidnapped into a rocket ship and happen to land on.
And wasn't that Hong Kong actor who was in like Big Trouble in Little China and shit?
No. Hans Zimmer? No. Who was the main guy? Sam J.
Who was
Jones.
the villain?
Max von Sydow.
Oh yeah, okay.
He was in The Exorcist and Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
He's the man. I want to say that this guy really was a quarterback. But, so think about this. You get kidnapped at gunpoint trying to leave the Earth.
Yeah.
Right? End up in a black hole. End up here. It's fucking brilliant. And then he has a football match fighting a whole bunch of little people. And then he's... I don't know. They reprogrammed the Doctor. It is brilliant.
It's also so symbolic of a bad Hollywood stuff at that time. Like, we're still trying to ride the Star Wars wave, but like your special effects are not up to snuff.
And this was a lot of practical effects, which was hilarious in and of itself.
Well, and all the original Star Wars stuff was practical effects, but like, I mean,
they rode like sky jet skis that you stand up on through the sky, and it was just like, oh, that is bad. Bad.
There's a couple of episodes in Community where Abed, the Pakistani, but
I think so.
But he's the film guy, and they do this like it's one of their little outro things. It's the genius of Dan Harmon, and the Russo brothers, but it's like starships, and they're in cardboard boxes, and like,
that's exactly what this is.
Exactly, yeah.
Great. The daughter who seduces Flash. Oh man, it's so good. They have a fight on a floating disc that moves. They're fighting with whips.
Yeah.
But the floor also has spikes that come out of it.
But here, like...
The Baron is controlling...
Here's the other crazy thing about that is that you had better special effects on the original Battlestar Galactica than you did in a major Hollywood production of Flash Gordon.
Correct. Yeah, all
and they were roughly the same time period. Yeah.
Well, I was going to get to the superheroes, because we went through that, because this was the same time that we had the Hulk on TV.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman.
And those weird Captain America TV
the
movies.
Weird Captain America. Then you had the Christopher Reeve Star Wars Superman movies.
Yeah.
Say it, because you took it out of my mouth.
It was a Greatest American Hero.
Boom. There it is. And so like we've done...
And that guy had the greatest Jerry curl of all time.
He was such... oh, man. Yeah,
what was the theme song to that? Like, look at me now.
No, don't. Because I'll be singing it the rest of the show. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, everybody should watch that movie.
Yeah. No, it's...
And I revisit it every few years.
Well, just to appreciate sci-fi and superhero movies now, like...
And that was based... Flash Gordon is a comic.
Yeah. And not to get, like, all old man on it, but, like, that's the kind of shit we grew up with, where... I mean, it was there, like, pew, pew,
right.
pew, pew, and now...
Yeah. That's what we grew up with. So when I see Endgame... I'm going,
like, mind blown.
Right, and now that we saw 80s Flash Gordon and the Hulk, Lou Ferrigno, and then to Iron Man, to...
But, I mean, I think that's a fair point, because, all these people who were, like, burned out on MCU or whatever, right. And you're going, like, first off, just appreciate that you have high-resolution computer CGI on this stuff.
Facts.
And it's not like a painted Coke bottle flying through.
Or like where you can basically see the treadmill with like cotton clouds.
Or some dude in like an all-black puppet costume.
And the costume design, like everything was, and we'll move on after this. The scene where they have to trust and put their hand in that thing to stick them in the arm or not. Beautiful. Quicksand. I was terrified of I thought quicksand was everywhere as a kid.
Sure.
I was terrified. And I think this movie contributed to that.
Well, I mean, that and like Indiana Jones and...
The Princess Bride.
Yeah,
all of these. Yeah. Quicksand. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger got stuck in quicksand like almost every movie. And if he wasn't, it was Sly Stallone.
Yeah.
Quicksand, man, it was fucking everywhere. Everywhere. It was in this movie too. Quicksand.
They just stole it from Lawrence of Arabia. That's all they did.
Is that what it is? Like, is quicksand really a thing? Like, can I step in something and then, like, in 30 seconds be dead?
Yeah.
Does this make sense to me?
Well, it's... Never mind.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've wanted to go down.
It's fucking desert sinkholes. That's all it is. But, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not in the desert too terribly much, so I'm good. Or on, like, foreign planets.
And we're not traipsing through the Amazonian jungle. So, yeah.
Thank
God, yeah.
There are things there that I don't want to know about.
Yeah,
the costumes in this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, it's like you gotta go back to the old stuff to really appreciate. Like we're doing.
OG Clash of the Titans is next.
Oh yeah.
The oldest hasn't seen that one yet either.
Oh man.
And I think the wife's only seen parts and bits on like TBS.
Or something with stop motion in it. Like that's. Like remember pre-Jurassic Park, those were those were dinosaur movies that we got where it was like a clear claymation fucking thing. Yeah. And so that's why like Jurassic Park blew everybody's mind because a fucking Brachiosaurus looked like a motherfucking Brachiosaurus.
Correct. Kroll, where like the Cyclops, like his face was put together by clay, it looked like, and the thing that he threw. Oh,
even though Frank Langella gave a great performance, like Skeletor and Masters of the Universe, like just did not like
terrible.
No. Yeah,
terrible. But they were still good movies. I mean, come on now. At the time, He-Man was on my TV. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yep, no,
but then they brought him to like present time. It's fucking stupid.
But I was gonna say like in one of my classes because we're in like pre-exam mode, and I already got through everything with them because they're really good. But we're watching Grapes of Wrath instead of making them read the book. Like we're just gonna because the movie's really good.
It is.
But it's that thing of like they're going like they're watching it and they're like, well that's clearly a backdrop. Like you have to understand what old movie like. Back then, that was revolutionary. Now
they were in a warehouse.
Yeah, it looks
with something behind them, and then they just built.
It's clearly a studio,
right?
But even though they're like filming in California, but they're doing a backdrop of California, but you got like you have to go back and like every now and then you find that jewel, that is not directed by Stanley Kubrick. That you're like, holy shit, that's a great fucking and. Even if it's in black and white, it's seamless in like today.
Absolutely.
And then
some
now
of them
and
have aged well, like the masterpieces. I find these like without that we don't have Iron Man.
Exactly. Yeah.
You got to shit the bed a few times.
No, you got to see the sausage being made.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in sci-fi and fantasy, it is not fucking pretty. At all.
I mean, I watched Battlestar Galactica, like, OG.
That was still pretty good.
Religious.
Though. For the time and TV, like...
The ships that got shot out of the mothership. Oh, man, I got off on that shit. It was so fucking good. Okay, real quick.
We need to get you on the new one, by the way.
I'm all like start and stop with that. It's like one step forward, two steps back. I've gotten through the prequel pilot movie or whatever.
Yeah.
Several times. I just need to fucking get off the pod.
We need like a 2-week vacation.
Yeah, that's exactly. I need that for more reasons than one.
Yeah.
Speaking of it, what could take? God, man,
all right, so
I'm glad Fallout.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think, man. I put in hours.
No.
Hours.
We're talking about. It's probably sum total at least 3 months of our lives.
If I had to guess, yeah. I mean, if
not more, or at least first round through.
My toe is now in Red Dead Redemption 2 again because
Lord.
Yeah.
Let's say I did New Vegas at least 3 times.
I did the Boston one. Several times.
Oh yeah.
And the DC was
count.
DC was the one that got me into the series.
Sure, yeah. That's what got everybody in.
Just from the pictures alone.
Set designers nailed it.
Yeah, and then
costume designers nailed it.
And then to find out that one of the Nolans, not Chris, but Jonathan. Oh, my horse in Red Dead is Jonathan Wick. Jonathan.
I'm not going to get into that. Maybe on the back end of this.
Okay. But I can't. I want to know who the main protagonist is. It's just going to be like some generic person wakes up in one of the vaults.
At least looking at the cast list, there's like 2 big names. There's Walter Goggins and there's Kyle MacLachlan. Other than that, like everybody's a journeyman actor.
An NPC.
Yeah, so in this case, I would think, whoever's going to be the lone survivor is going to be an up-and-coming lad or lady.
Which is how they should do it. And they should take cues from like how they did the lore on, The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
You could do that, or what was the other one I was thinking of? Jesus fucking.
Well, shit, we have 10 seconds, and I'm going to stammer through this. But yeah, it's once they establish this universe, then we can go back to the origin.
Thank you. Well done. You did that in 9 seconds. Right, I was jumping ahead to origins. I was like, no, stop. Just throw them into the world.
Well, and that's the thing, too. We never discussed that about Last of Us. But there is an opportunity to go further back into stuff that Druckmann didn't present in the video games.
I saw... It was
our side stories.
It was an opinion piece on that the episode with Nick Offerman in it proves that you can do a proper spin-off. Because think about it. That we know it as gamers that meant a lot, but if you're watching the show,
you have no idea.
You have no idea. It's just like a throwaway episode that gets Joel and Ellie from here to here.
Yeah.
But we know it because
and
we
you
know
get to see Nick Offerman just kill it.
But could you imagine just like a 3 or 4 episode arc of Bill and I can never remember his name, the characters.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Norman, whatever. But you could see an episode of Nick Offerman being all hardcore or vice versa, and just. Organic 4-episode arc. Have a nice day. And pick up.
Well, and there's a whole thing of Joel and his main squeeze at the beginning. It's like they did a little bit, but like that gap, like that, like that 20 or Tess.
Thank you.
Like that 20-year gap. Like, even the game does.
Yep.
The game doesn't touch on how he becomes this hardened, seasoned.
Other than. His daughter dies, and now he's a hardened guy. But he went from a construction.
How does he figure out
to James Bond?
Yeah. What is it? Rum runner.
He learned how to field strip a gun and make a silencer out of a water bottle.
And it's his brother who's the military dude.
Right.
Yeah. Tommy.
World building seems to be a thing that I will give credit to the MCU for doing.
Yeah.
Because you build that world, and you got a whole bunch, like the John Wick world building that happened. Even the Kingsman.
I was going to say.
World building.
You know who actually did that a little bit before?
Who's that?
So the guy who remade Battlestar Galactica.
Right.
So he did the reboot.
Right.
And then he did the origin, which is called Caprica, about the creation of the Cylons.
But I didn't know it, but yeah.
And then he even does...
That was a sci-fi show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, of course it was sci-fi.
On Sci-Fi Network, yeah. I knew what you meant. So, yeah. It's... I'm trying to think of other... I mean, there was earlier... I mean, Lost, you could say, was a world building.
It was more character-driven in my mind.
Yeah, but you had alternate dimensions and shit like that. So,
in my world building universe, it had its own rules.
Yeah,
and you're right; it was its own thing.
I mean, if we're talking about that, it would be you can even say Golden Girls was world building because you had Happy Days was a world building.
Yes, because you had your characters, but you knew.
Then you had
everything.
Joni Loves Chachi.
Everything that moved in and out.
Cheers,
but on a
was
giant scale.
Yeah.
I don't think what Cheers was like that too, because they had all these different people from different places coming together, and you knew how everyone lived, but you never saw it. Yeah. Just because through stories, dialogue.
They had a couple of spinoffs, and there was a bunch of ones in the works. There was supposed to be a whole series about Carla's life outside of the bar.
Really?
Or her ex-husband who had the mousy blonde as the wife. Remember her?
The mouse? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't picture her face. I picture her voice.
Yeah. That's all you need to do.
Okay. You're right. That's all we need to do. All right. Now you know what we're going to do. I'm going to talk about...
See, we can't get a... All right.
Chick Magnet Punk.
Is that what it stands for?
I believe so.
Oh, my God.
But I mean, he was like 16, you know? So how many of you are going to say it?
All right, you're on.
So we had another... So there was one of the big 5 at this point events for WWE was Survivor Series this past weekend. War Games.
As long as Triple H is in charge, they're all going to be big.
Yeah,
let's just admit to
all
that.
of his big shows have been bangers.
Yeah.
All of them. I mean, I'm not talking weekly.
This is
episodes.
WWE War Games.
Which is, let me pay.
And in case my mother's listening, yes, we're talking about wrestling.
Yes. So War Games is 2 full-size rings next to each other.
In a cage.
And then a giant cage over top of both of them.
Dual cage match.
5 on 5. So they had the women's match, and those girls are crazy. Yeah. So you come in, 2 people start, and then you alternate, right? Until you get all 10 people in, and then it's a full-blown war. Which is great, fantastic. Dusty Rhodes came up with the concept. So Cody wrestling in it, made sense. It's like things come full circle.
I'm here for my father.
I have to be in this match because my dad made it. And like that was a big thing. Seth even talked about it the next night. Io Sky climbed to the top of the cage, threw down a fish hook, basically, and brought up a metal trash can, put it over her body, and then dove off onto people. Last year, she did a moonsault. She did a backflip in one of those fuckers.
Nice.
And she's awesome. She's adorable, too. She really is. But, good on the girl. Like, they beat the piss out of each other with chairs and kendo sticks. There was a picture of one of the girls who had...
I like it how it's evolved. Like, before, like, in the early days, it was just... girls in bikinis.
Yeah, it was like a...
and now they're actually like really
a bra and panties match.
Yeah.
That was Vince. Wild the shit that he could get away with back then. Wild. Like, here's 2 chicks in thong bikinis wrestling in pudding. But now they're actually wrestling. So one of the girls had like this gnarly mark across her face because she got kicked in the face. Like, it was impressive.
It's fun when the choreography does not plan out.
And, some of it is clearly like people are kind of standing around waiting for moves. Yeah. But it's not like a...
but to get your forehead split open, that's not really planned.
Exactly. No, that's just...
Unless you can see the razor blade somewhere.
Yeah, no, she got
hit. But nobody would do that.
No, she got kicked so hard that it left an imprint in her face.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine what it felt like inside that trash can. Jumping off of this, I don't know, 16, 18, 20 foot
Who was
cage.
it, like, Mankind did that, like, 20-foot drop?
Oh, yeah, but he was on top of Hell in the Cell.
Yeah,
and he just did a front flip from 30 feet to 20-something feet up through a table.
Yeah.
I could remember exactly where I was. I was laying on the couch, facing the TV, and when it happened...
I didn't watch it, and I know about it.
Live, and I fell off the couch.
It's like the moon landing of wrestling.
I thought he died.
Everybody did.
Only because Jim Ross said they've killed him. Which
they've killed him, everybody.
They've killed him. They've pushed Mick to do so much shit that he did a front flip off of a giant cage, unprotected, through a table. Yeah, he ruptured his spleen.
Yeah.
Tooth went through his sinuses up out of his nose.
I mean, didn't he break like half his vertebrae?
I don't know, but he finished the match. Because he's a gangster. So the women did their thing perfect. Miz and Gunther wrestled. Gunther's the giant Austrian.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Chops everybody to death. They put on a pretty good match.
Who won?
Gunther. He's the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in history. Legit.
The Miz is such a piece of poo.
Okay, here I'll give my really quick opinion on The Miz. he's earned everything.
Sure, yeah.
And he's really fucking good at what he does. He's like Logan Paul.
Right. He's really good at being a douche.
And he's been doing it for 20 years at this point. So not many people last that long. You are killing it. You're living your best life. You know how to wrestle.
Yeah.
You know the psychology. You can tell a fucking story. I don't care if you're a douchebag or not. We had a Lucha Libre match.
Yeah.
We had Dragon Lee against...
Was it one of the Mysterios?
Santos Escobar. No, but they were wrestling like in the Mysterio's stead because he was hurt.
Yeah.
Good flippy luchador, your typical luchador match.
Yeah.
Super fast, super high flying. Fun, yeah. Exactly. Fun. And then, who wrestled? Rhea Ripley destroyed somebody because that's what she does. Yeah, she murdered somebody.
Yeah.
And laughed about it.
But she's big.
She's not, and it's the Australian accent that gets me. I'm just like, oh my god, you were terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, that with the goth emo.
Right, and she's fucking 6 whatever, and her fucking shoulders are as big as this TV.
Yeah.
But the men's match. So Randy Orton was supposed to come back, but he wasn't there, and nobody knew what was happening. But he showed up. Those guys beat the piss out of each other, too. Was it Drew McIntyre?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was one of the headliners in that one.
The good guys threw one of the bad guys off the top of the cage head first, and Randy Orton RKO'd him in the middle of the ring. And people got powerbombed through tables, chairs. It was...
Was Seth Rollins in that, or... Yeah.
Come on. Of course he was. Yeah, so it was Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is always wonderful when you get to see Dominic Mysterio wrestle. Fucking love that guy. And then the good guys were like the hodgepodge of faces. Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, and then Randy Orton, but he didn't come.
Yeah.
Or he did show up at the end there. But Randy, has gotten... Yeah.
Well, he's been out for a while.
Over a year, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
But he's always a big guy. He's like 6'2". But now he's like ripped. Like when Triple H came back that one time.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Ripped.
Yeah.
Which I think it was
He's been drinking the protein shakes.
It's his back. I think that was... I don't think it's his neck. I think it's his back. So clearly he's going to work out his upper body to try to strengthen... Oh my God, he's huge. It was good to see him back after almost 2 years. He did Randy Orton things, and people loved it.
He's always a crowd favorite.
He is.
Yeah.
And now he seems to be having... He was always a little surly. When he was younger, he was known to, like, shit in people's boots and stuff.
Yeah.
And just be that guy. So seeing him now as like the old man and happy to be out there and just happy to be beating people up in front of kids is perfect. I live for this Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's he's you. He's you in the ring.
Yeah, he is. He's happy to be there. Now that John Cena's gone, now I can live through Randy Orton, at least until Triple H decided to fuck with the entire world. So, normally show goes off the air, the copyright comes in the bottom corner, wide angle, and scene. It's just to let everybody know we're turning it off, nothing more to see here. I did that. And then I got a text from my son. So, they're in Chicago.
That's a good son, by the way.
There is a wrestler who is from Chicago.
Yeah, that we never talk about.
Ever. And I know I've given him shit, and he is a diva, and he...
You've never cried about him ever?
Correct. Ever. I've met him. His picture is hanging on my wall with my kids. Shows up. Okay. So, it's been 10 years, I think, and when he left the WWE...
Based on your timeline, yeah.
Left the WWE, he fucking nuked WWE. Sued him, went on every single podcast. Anybody who would give him a microphone, he would shit on anything and everything WWE.
But this was back in like
it was like 10 years ago.
Vince McMahon complete control.
Vince McMahon's control. Exactly.
So this is like the genius of Triple H right now.
So when it's happened before, like Bret Hart was never coming back.
Yeah.
He got in a fist fight with Vince, but he came back. Ultimate Warrior, same thing. He came back. Bruno Sammartino, he came back. Like all of these people who swore it off. It's just time heals all wounds.
But also, has this been under Triple H's storylines?
So no, when he got fired from AEW, it was just all like, oh, he's going to show up. There's no way he's showing up. No. But apparently, if reporting is
we talked about that.
Right. Is to be believed is, like, he signed the contract weekend of. Like, they had been talking or whatever.
Well, what else is he going to fucking do?
So, and he cut a promo Monday night where he was basically saying, like, yeah, okay, but this is
he going to go into midget wrestling?
Right, or like, this is where I need to be. I understand that now.
Yeah.
I'm a grown-up. I'm working with professionals now.
Well, and I would think the WWE will cater to his personality better than AEW.
What I just said, they're a fucking professional organization. I love AEW, don't get me wrong, but they are an independent. Like, they're inmates running the asylum. Well,
and it's like, if somebody challenges Khan there, then it's like, okay, no, you're at, like, or WWE, it's like, also, you've already seen what CM Punk has built himself into.
Correct.
So it's like you're bringing him in for that reason.
Put it this way, WWE and now with UFC, whatever the fuck their organization is.
Yeah.
They are organizations that know how to maximize a draw.
Yeah.
And they just did it. Without even, but with
you're saying they're
everything,
they're the Don Kings of
everything that you
time.
Heard leading up to it was like, yes, it would be cool. It's in Chicago, but it ain't fucking happening.
And guess what?
It did. And then he showed up the next night and cut a promo.
Well, and then
it was cool.
And then within like 5 minutes, Seth Rollins is already out there talking shit.
So they
starting the next title bout.
and they worked all that into it like brilliantly. So Drew McIntyre storms out, apparently slams his dressing room door and leaves. And Seth Rollins, once the cameras went off, but they were
on,
still rolling, he's cussing and flipping him off and all that. And then the next night, they don't interact, but that's where they're headed.
So I had a student of mine that I didn't know. Maybe you don't expect it where I teach, but she was like, "Did you hear CM Punk's coming back?" Like, I did. And she's like, "Oh, I can't wait for it." And I'm like, "Why?" And she's like, "Oh, it's he's so charismatic. He's this." I'm like, "More than Seth freaking Rollins?" And she was like, "I hate that dude." Like, hold on.
You need to pump the brakes there, young lady.
Like, we're clearly not pros in this game, but like, yeah. Wait. Take a step back. Have you seen his outfits?
Can you imagine? I can't wait till, I don't know if it'll happen at Royal Rumble, maybe WrestleMania, when those two wrestle.
Oh, man.
Because they've been, and I know they're just building a program, but over the past year, they've been...
That's like 1,000% crowd interaction. On
facts.
Yeah.
Fact. And they've been jabbing on Twitter here and there and calling each other out, knowing that one day we're going to make a shit ton of money.
Triple H is a genius.
He is. Thank God. Thank God. Because now I get to watch all the things. And CM Punk can finally ride off into the sunset like he needs to. On a high note.
But, I mean... You're at least going to get 5 years of that duel. CM Punk, Seth Rollins.
And it doesn't have to be all the time.
Yeah.
CM Punk can get a part-time schedule.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins, I am all for wrestlers getting a break. It should be like a regular sports season where there's an off season. Sure. You can't do that with wrestling. So what you do is, in everybody's contract, you give them 2 months off.
Well,
if they're crazy, crazy, crazy hot, you work that in.
But that's what it's like. I'm also curious in that to see how Craven the Hunter is going to go down.
Oh yeah,
because Seth Rollins is in that.
Yep.
Like, is Seth Rollins going to move into being the next Rock John Cena?
He's getting close to that because Roman Reigns is basically now. I don't know if he's doing Hollywood, but Roman Reigns is at that point to where he's doing Brock Lesnar's schedule.
Yeah,
I'm going to wrestle 8 times a year.
Sure.
I'm going to show up on TV and talk maybe 18 times a year.
But see, like Roman Reigns isn't fun.
No,
like that.
No. He comes in and he like Brock did. He comes in and demands attention.
Yeah, same as Brock Lesnar is not a movie star.
Right.
Yeah.
But you get a John Cena to do the same thing, and now Seth Rollins has run the game. If you go,
that's what I'm saying about Seth Rollins is that his Applebee's ads are fucking hysterical.
And if you go back from when he started until now, he has gone through everything. Comedy, he's done that.
Yeah.
He's done hardcore serious. He's done crazy what he's doing now.
Well, I love that article that you already read and I found and I sent it to you. And when he was like, during COVID, he was like, well, I'm just going to wear... It's like, I already know all this shit.
Right.
But the missing piece was my flair.
Well, yesterday...
And once he started wearing, like, Elton John outfits into the ring...
He had 2 pillows on his shoulders, like, within the past week. Pillows.
Yeah.
Last night he
but
had
that's his whole thing.
Like
now he's like, I'm going to outdo the outfit because I already have everything else down.
Yep. So now his gimmick is the outfit and standing in the middle of the ring.
Yeah. While everybody
everyone serenades me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when he wrestles...
Well, but that's what The Rock did. That's what John Cena did.
Yeah, exactly. My favorite thing about John Cena, when he was last time a full-time, and everybody hated him. And I was too. I was just, you get sick of the guy winning all the time. But
that's when he was in the good guy mode, right?
He was in Super Cena mode. Like, he never lost. He was like Roman Reigns is. My favorite thing during all of that was he would come out and the crowd would fucking shit on him. And after about 117 seconds of promo, they would be cheering him again.
Yeah.
He could do that. Like, we're
well,
I want to fucking riot. I don't like you, again, John Cena.
The Rock comes in, goes into movies, and other than what was that? The Get Shorty sequel.
Yep.
Where it's like, that was the first time I saw The Rock, and I was like,
he played some flamboyant
gay dude,
right?
Yeah, and it was like, he actually might have something here.
He's played every character.
Other than that, it was like Walking Tall. It was like,
he was in a movie
Scorpion King, shit like that.
The guy who did Donnie Darko did another movie.
Yeah,
and The Rock was in that. And he played like a depressed cop or detective or something, and that was Range.
Sure, yeah.
And then the Tooth Fairy,
right?
Range, but everything else is like, I'm gonna play The Rock.
And John Cena did a couple of that, but then all of a sudden you started seeing it was like he wasn't afraid to get into raunchy comedies and stuff like that.
So he started with like The Marine 12 or something.
Yeah.
And then was in like an Amy Schumer movie.
Right.
Or 2. And then could do the comedy bit and then leaned into the raunchy comedy.
Yeah.
And then he could still do the action, but he's found that...
Like, he's really fucking funny.
Yeah.
And apparently naturally funny, as we've seen.
Yes.
And then, of course, the thing that we never realized about Batista until we saw Blade Runner, which was like, holy fuck, like... Which I love that interview that he did. He's like, if Denis Villeneuve wants me to do anything, I'm there.
Correct.
Because he makes me look amazing.
And I can't wait to see him getting more screen time.
Oh my god.
And Dune 2. Whew. I want him ripping people's arms off. And then he did Drax.
Yeah.
When he did Drax,
well,
everybody went, oh.
And you heard all the stories about that, right?
Which ones?
Like, all the... So there was like an autistic kid wrote him a letter. And again, he's playing Drax like Drax is in the comic books.
Right. Yeah.
But this kid wasn't a comic book reader. So he watches the first Guardians of the Galaxy. And essentially Drax is autistic.
Yeah.
He can't make a human connection.
Nope.
Like, he's very literal. He's not metaphorical. Like, and this kid wrote him a letter, and then he ended up meeting him, and he met him like as Drax.
Of course.
But it was like, the kid was like, "Thank you for it was from the dad. Like, thank you for presenting someone on screen that my kid can actually relate to." Like,
wow.
And that's what like the first Guardians did for like Drax has this huge like autistic following,
which makes sense.
and Bautista lays into it.
Oh yeah, he leans into all of
his
shit. Everything I've seen with him is just super down to earth.
But that opening scene of Blade Runner, yeah, it's like, and I'm going like, oh, it's Bautista. Like, okay, sure. Like, and this is even after Drax. And but it's like that, like 5 minutes of screen time. That 5 minutes of screen time is just like, holy shit! Like, and you watch that and you're like, Denis Villeneuve is like the next Kubrick. Like, he fucking pulled something out of nothing.
At 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't think there were, like, the first 2 minutes of that. No dialogue. It's just him.
Right. Like, tending to his farm.
And then the interaction he has.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's fucking...
And then there's the fight, but it's like... But that's not what anybody ever...
No.
And even critics are going... Like, in that scene, they're like Bautista fucking...
David knows what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. God damn.
But that's what we say. It's like, you put me in a room with Denis Villeneuve... he will get the best out of me, and to sit there and say that and say like, I've been in a room with Vince McMahon,
yes,
and like these dudes, and like they didn't pull the best out of me,
but this all of the MCU
French Canadian can fucking do it. Like,
and then he did it again as he's painted white. He's roid rage.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Although they pushed.
Don't forget as and then Austin Butler as Fayed.
So we're gonna get to see him within the span of 6 months play a alopecia albino white psychopath.
Tom Hardy's protege in the motorcycle.
A dude with a beautiful coif
greaser
hair. And beautiful eyes next to, with a Chicago.
Well, did you watch him in the Elvis movie?
I still haven't seen Elvis.
Oh my God. I mean, seriously.
Okay, I'll watch it.
No, I mean, he fucking, and I will say this, Tom Hanks.
I knew that.
Kills fucking Colonel.
He is such a slimy cocksucker.
Yeah, and they do that, And the beauty part, and I will say this too, because like I'm normally wary of like Baz Luhrmann movies, is that you're going like, oh, you're just gonna like do all like the good stuff, like no, like
right, you're gonna hit all the high notes, and we're gonna call it a day.
He paints Colonel Tom Parker as the skeeve ball.
Good, because that guy was terrible.
Oh my God,
he's probably the reason Elvis is dead.
Yes,
I mean, let's be honest here.
Oh, no. Oh, hey, you have 10 shows to do tonight. Here's some amphetamine.
Right. I don't know if I can do... Here you go. Just shut the fuck up and take this. And then you're going to die fat on the toilet.
Yeah.
You're going to shit out your colon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Oh, no, hold on.
So where are we at? Oh, God, we get to talk about our...